Later in the day, Microsoft founder and chairman Bill Gates made a statement about the settlement with the Justice Department. This 15-minute video was provided by Microsoft.
Well, thanks. I want to thank everybody for either joining us personally today, or I know we have many people participating via phone and satellite, and we certainly appreciate everybody's time with us here today. This is a significant day for Microsoft, and we'll make a few brief remarks. Bill Gates, our chairman and chief software architect, will, and then entertain a few questions. Again, thanks very much for your time.
I'm pleased that we've reached a settlement with the Department of Justice. We have worked intensely with the court-appointed mediator and the DOJ for the last several weeks to arrive at this agreement, which represents a fair compromise on all sides. We hope that when the state attorney generals have fully reviewed the settlement, they will also agree that it's the right way forward. Litigation is never a good thing for any industry or any company. We have said for some time that we would go the extra mile to resolve this case. That is exactly what we did in reaching this settlement. This agreement contains significant rules and regulations on how we develop and license our software. But it allows Microsoft to keep innovating on behalf of consumers. It goes beyond the Court of Appeals decision in some areas and provides for ongoing oversight by an independent committee. We are resolved to implementing this settlement promptly and fully, and we will put all the necessary resources in place to ensure this. I want to thank the mediator, Eric Green, whose efforts helped everyone involved to negotiate this settlement. We all worked hard to achieve it. The experience of the past 3 years has had a profound impact on me personally and on our company. We are in a fast-moving, competitive industry, but we will focus more on how our actions affect other companies. Along with this settlement come new responsibilities to communicate in new ways, to be even more open, and to offer new design flexibility. We accept these responsibilities, and we resolve ourselves to becoming an even better industry leader. This is a difficult time for our nation and for our economy. While this settlement imposes new rules and regulations, we believe that settling the case now is the right thing to do for our customers, for the technology industry, and for the economy. There are many challenges and opportunities ahead as we move into this digital decade. This settlement eliminates the uncertainty of the lawsuit and enables Microsoft to focus on the future. We are committed to making this settlement a success and to continue delivering important new innovations that will re-energize the economy and improve people's lives. Thank you.
Great. We'd be delighted to entertain a few questions if people have them.
If the states don't sign on to this, how is that
going to affect the proposal, and is Microsoft willing to give up any more than it already has?
Well, the settlement we've reached with the federal government is something that the states are taking, I believe, until Tuesday morning to evaluate. And we're hopeful that they'll sign on. Mr. James this morning spoke about also his hopefulness that the states would sign on, and we'll be in front of the judge on Tuesday morning to see where that stands, and the judge then will decide what the next steps are.
Lady here.
The Attorney General is talking about how this will be good for the national economy. What do you think the settlement will do for the local economy?
Well, we're certainly looking forward to the opportunity to continue to deliver exciting new products into the marketplace. And while while there are a number of new rules and regulations, we do feel that we'll be able to do exciting new work, transform the world with exciting innovation, and that should translate into opportunities for growth in our business and here in the Puget Sound area.
How big a role did the September 11th events play into this decision?
I think the tragedy of September 11th, that really stands on its own. Certainly, the district court judge who was assigned to this case did indicate that she wanted rapid action and a vigorous pace for these settlement discussions. And we appreciate her work. We appreciate the work of the mediator. But as I said, I think really the events of September 11th stand on their own.
Steve, is there any, in settling this case, is there any sort of acknowledgement that Microsoft violated the law and that a remedy was appropriate to address those transgressions?
Well, we're accepting quite a broad set of new requirements on the company. And that was done because the government felt there were some concerns. The concerns that were in the appeals court decision are fully addressed here. There's even some aspects of this agreement that go beyond the list of concerns that arose there. And so Microsoft, is accepting the responsibility to make this settlement a success while making sure that we continue to do new products.
Are you acknowledging you did anything wrong?
I think that the key issue here is with the success of our products, there came a set of competition concerns. And the government had articulated those. We've been through a lengthy litigation process. And the key here was for us to work with the government on a settlement that would address those competition concerns and address them fully. And certainly the Attorney General was quite clear this morning that those had been addressed, and we're certainly, as we said, committed 100% to full compliance with this consent decree.
Mr. Gates, you said that the experiences of the past 3 years changed you and the company. Could you elaborate more on that? And what was it, a humbling experience, a maddening experience? What was it like to go through this?
Well, it certainly was a long, complex, sometimes draining, you would say. We learned a lot as we went through it, not just about the process, but how we can be a leader, how we can communicate in new ways. And many of the things we're accepting in this settlement come through the thinking and the learning that came out of these last 3 years. During the 3 years, there was a lot of uncertainty over our company. What would come out of this court case? And if there's anything clear that I think is good for everyone here, is that uncertainty is now resolved. The settlement sets forward what we need to do. That's known, and that's what we're going to do. And so it marks a boundary and puts the 3-year experience behind us with all the learning that took place during that time.
Some of your critics have suggested you got off easy. How do you feel about that?
I would say there's certainly a lot in the way not only of rules and regulations, but also in the way of ongoing oversight of our business in this settlement. We think it's a fair and reasonable settlement, but it's hard for us to comment on behalf of our critics. Certainly, it's clear that Mr. James and the Attorney General feel that there's quite a bit in here to address their concerns about competition in our industry. And certainly, this settlement does go quite a bit beyond some of the findings by the appellate court, as Mr. James highlighted earlier today.
Hi, it looks like from the settlement that Microsoft has final approval over who gets to see or use the, or have access to the APIs. Is that subject to review by the Oversight Committee?
Actually, there's a requirement in this to disclose the technical interfaces between what's called middleware in the agreement and Microsoft Windows. And so wherever that class of software for Microsoft is calling into Windows, we disclose to third parties in a timely manner exactly what functions of the operating system are being called there. So that's an absolute requirement. It's not discretionary. And as you suggest, the Oversight Committee is there to take any issue that comes to them and make sure that any concern about information disclosure, that all the information that's required is out there.
Any sense how this agreement could impact the European Union's own investigation into Microsoft practices, and what's the status of that investigation?
Well, the investigation by the European Union is an ongoing matter. Certainly, the Commission has its own interests and issues that it is taking a look at. I suspect that the Commission will take a look at this settlement, but we're engaged in a process with the European Commission, and as we have wanted to settle this matter, so would we like to appropriately settle the matter with the European Commission.
Any sense when there could be a resolution there?
No, there's a time frame for the ongoing work in front of the Commission, but no.
We probably have time for about one more question.
This agreement comes at a time when many PC makers and service and solution providers are struggling. How do you anticipate it'll be received and then acted upon by them?
Well, the biggest thing in terms of the PC industry is moving forward with new products. In here, OEMs get clear flexibility in some of the ways they configure the system. I'm sure they'll be creative in looking at consumer demand and relationships in taking advantage of that. We were with the leaders of the PC industry last week as we launched Windows XP, and there's a clear sense that XP is an important product for the industry, a lot of broad backing for that, and so we're all looking for an upswing in terms of the products that the industry builds.
Innovation, I'll just add, is key to the health and growth of the technology industry in general. We will continue to do innovative work. The settlement permits that. And personally, I'll say I'm happy to have our chief software architect really focused in on those future innovations. Thank you all very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Join us this weekend.
Well, thanks. I want to thank everybody for either joining us personally today, or I know we have many people participating via phone and satellite, and we certainly appreciate everybody's time with us here today. This is a significant day for Microsoft, and we'll make a few brief remarks. Bill Gates, our chairman and chief software architect, will, and then entertain a few questions. Again, thanks very much for your time.
I'm pleased that we've reached a settlement with the Department of Justice. We have worked intensely with the court-appointed mediator and the DOJ for the last several weeks to arrive at this agreement, which represents a fair compromise on all sides. We hope that when the state attorney generals have fully reviewed the settlement, they will also agree that it's the right way forward. Litigation is never a good thing for any industry or any company. We have said for some time that we would go the extra mile to resolve this case. That is exactly what we did in reaching this settlement. This agreement contains significant rules and regulations on how we develop and license our software. But it allows Microsoft to keep innovating on behalf of consumers. It goes beyond the Court of Appeals decision in some areas and provides for ongoing oversight by an independent committee. We are resolved to implementing this settlement promptly and fully.
Later in the day, Microsoft founder and chairman Bill Gates made a statement about the settlement with the Justice Department. This 15-minute video was provided by Microsoft.